Hello, 403 classes. This is your teacher, Sam. I'm here in my little apartment study studio. I wanted to leave you just a quick video message to go along with the assignment and the email that I've already prepared and sent. Just to say, first of all, as I noted in the email, goodbye to everyone, especially to those who, from the Wednesday class, I didn't get to say didn't get to say goodbye to. Anyhow, I wanted to also talk just a little bit about one of the images in the book, the last image. I think I promised in both classes to say something about that, and there was obviously no opportunity to, given the constraints of that we're dealing with now. You'll notice that the image, I don't know how this is going to do in my little not HD camera, but the last image on page 51 is not like the other images. It's a line drawing, a very light sketch line drawing from a photograph, and that photograph is a photo of my abuelito Rocha and my abuelita Andres and Elida Rocha. I had planned on the last day to talk a little bit about this to you and tell you a bit about what it means to me, and I suppose I won't get to go into much great detail about that. But it is something that's very particular, perhaps not only to me and some of the ways I shared, but also I think talks a little bit about maybe one of the questions that emerges in this final section, which is, what in the world do you mean by love? That image there is of them basically sitting at a table that they sat at together for, gosh, within my memory, it must have been 25, 30 years. They were married for 72 years. And they sat at that table every day, it seemed. They didn't always do very much. My grandma had arthritis, so what she's doing there is she's kind of knocking a rhythm out on the wooden table with her knuckles, or arthritic knuckles. And my grandfather is checking the mail. But pretty routine stuff. I guess sometimes people think of love as something that's, really bombastic or triumphalist or heroic or maximal. And I tend to think of love in a different way. It's not that it's not great or that it's not wonderful, but that it's often shown in these kinds of moments that are ordinary, moments that are the result of a great deal of time. And I think in many cases, well, I hope that there's something about this in terms of the kind of love that teachers can show their students. Sometimes people feel very uncomfortable about that idea that teachers should love their students. It might seem inappropriate to some people, and I can of course see in what ways that would be the case. But I suppose what I mean to end with on this note of love is that it doesn't have to necessarily express itself in some of the ways we might think of, or that maybe we've popularly understood love to express itself. I think these kinds of moments, like we see in that photograph, are moments of profound, and I would even argue deeper love of a certain kind, love that is, maybe you might say, a bit rare. And I think I see this kind of love in the work of teachers who devote themselves to teaching for a very long time, and even some who within a short time show the same kind of devotion. At any rate, I want to tell you a few things about what that picture is. You'll notice that in the instructions for that final prompt, I leave it quite open, and so you don't have to talk about my grandparents or about what you think of the photo. You can talk about what you thought of the book, or the more general question of what can be shown of that which has, what can be said of that which has been shown. The last thing I was going to show in terms of my relation to that photo is another piece of art that I carry on my arm. I don't know if you can see it. It's just a tattoo that is actually written in the hand of my grandfather, shown there, my abuelito Rocha. And it's signed on behalf of him and my grandmother. It says in Spanish, Con mucho cariño para Samuelito y muy orgullosos de él, sus abuelitos Andrés y Elida Rocha. And what that means in English is with much care or love for little Sam or Sammy. Samuelito is a diminutive of my name. And very proud of him, his grandparents, Andres and Elida Rocha. And so, as you can see, perhaps this isn't just about the book. It's not just about the ideas. It's also about, I suppose, sharing some part of my life and some part of what I carry with me with you. And while there are certainly reasonable limits, I think, and expectations upon how a teacher might share their life with their students and to what extent that sharing is pedagogically appropriate and also maybe just appropriate in general. I guess I'd like to end by just letting you know that, to the extent that this is this really big class and ended in this unfortunate way due to the COVID-19 virus, that that I do take this somewhat personally in all the ways that I hope I've been able to show, but that taking it personally doesn't reduce it hopefully to just a mere anecdote, but maybe shows you some part of the moral status of these ideas for me that go beyond maybe just the analytical or philosophical or logical arguments that we've talked about and that we've discussed. At any rate, I don't know how you take that, and I promise I just press play on my little video here, so I'm kind of just ending with some thoughts. I did want to end though with more than just thoughts, because especially on the Wednesday class, I promised to maybe bring my guitar, and I feel bad that I wasn't able to make good on that promise. So I was thinking that maybe I would share 2 songs with you for those who want to continue watching. This isn't required by any means. One of them would be just one verse of one of the favorite songs of my grandmother, my abuelita. My new book that's coming out now is dedicated to her, and it's just actually a church song that I grew up hearing. But this particular verse is a verse that I think is wonderful, largely because it's lyrically speaking, it's quite open, I think, to any interpretation, not only specifically religious ones. And then I had considered maybe ending the whole class by sharing with you one of my favorite songs by a singer and songwriter who was born in West Virginia but really made his name, I think, in Austin, Texas, by the name of Daniel Johnson. He unfortunately passed away this last year, and I won't go into much detail about his biography, but you can look him up online. And at any rate, I thought I would maybe share one of his songs that I like very much, which is also about love, and the title of that song is True Love Will Find You in the End. So I know I'm not sharing any of my own music, but both of these pieces are, to me, pieces that I really like, and that maybe show more than I can say in this video, and who knows, perhaps in this class. So I hope you enjoy them. The first one, by the way, in Spanish, it's titled Donde nace la flor, which means where the flower is born. And it goes something like this. Si quieres conocer los colores más bellos, ver el agua correr y oír cantar al ave azul, necesitas beber del manantial de agua viva, donde brota el amor, donde nace la flor del más bello color. So that's the first song. That was my grandma's favorite song. This next song is by Daniel Johnson, and I suppose it'll be my way of saying goodbye to you all. I really do wish you a really wonderful completion of the TEO program, but more importantly, perhaps a really wonderful initiation into the profession of teaching and all of the work that you do there. And I hope that if it's of interest to you, feel free to keep in touch. Drop me a note, perhaps, but also don't feel in any way required to do so. So thank you so much. This is Daniel Johnson's song, True Love Will Find You in the End. True love will find you in the end. You'll find out who was just your friend. Don't be sad, I know you will. Don't give up until true love will find you in the end. This is a promise with a catch. Only if you're searching can it find you. Because true love is searching too. But how can it recognize you unless you step out into the light, the light? Don't be sad, I know you will. Don't give up until true love will find you in the end. Don't be sad, I know you will. Don't give up until true love will find you in the end. Thank you all so much, and stay safe out there and stay healthy. Bye-bye.